I'm missing one. Where did that go? Hey friends, it's Hope, and today I am here to do a book haul. I can't remember the last time I did one. I feel like it's been a while. I think I have 14 books I need to show you guys today, which is freaking insane. So with that said, I'm not going to go in depth with all the books because this video would be forever long and ain't nobody got time for that. So I will leave all of the book's Goodreads pages down below in the description box. Note to self, Hope, do not forget to do that. Do you guys forget to put stuff in the description box after you say it in a video? I know I personally do that all the time, but I will not forget doing this for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. The very first book that I want to talk to you guys about is a book that I adored, I've already read, and I highly recommend you guys going and getting it as well, and that is This Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This book felt so different than any other Colleen Hoover book I've ever read. I know some of my booktube friends out there haven't been the biggest fan of Colleen Hoover books. Maybe this will encourage you to at least check this one out. Definitely has more of a serious undertone, and I wish I could tell you more about this gem of a story, but it really truly is best for you to go into it not knowing what it's about. This month I also received 2 books to read and review, and the first one that I was sent was Finding London by Ellie Wade. I'm a part of the booktube tours hosted by Grace over at Loving Dumb Books. I will leave all that information down below in the description box along with my non-spoiler book review over Finding London. It is a new adult, like contemporary romance type of story, so if you guys are definitely into that, check out my review down below and you guys will find out a little bit more about this book. The next book I got sent is so exciting, and you guys may have seen my recent unboxing video for this book, but it is Unblemished by Sarah Ella. She is a dear friend of mine. I'm so excited that I have this in my hands. I'll be picking it up in a few short days. I'll be reading it in September. I talked about this book in depth in my unboxing video, so just like Finding London, I will link that video down below as well. I have a really great used bookstore back at home in Missouri, and I have some book credits there from when I lived in Missouri and sold back some of my books. So my sister is a freaking rock star, and she picks up the books for me that I have on hold, and recently Attachments by Rainbow Rowell finally came in stock at the used bookstore. I had read this book on my Kindle and adored it so much that I knew one day I definitely wanted to own it, and I had put this on hold for like 2 years and it finally came in stock. So thank you, Haven. Shout out to you for being a freaking rock star and picking this book up. This is my all-time favorite Rainbow Rowell book. It is a unconventional love story set in the Y2K era. It is hilarious. It is relatable. I freaking adore this book. Alright friends, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I adore frequenting thrift shops and seeing if they have any great gems of books in the stores, and sometimes it's hit and miss, but this past month it was definitely a hit. I have 4 books here that I want to show you guys. The first one is Forever by Maggie Stiefvater, and I really hope that this is the 3rd book because I have the second one, Linger. Let me know down below if this is the 3rd book or not. Fingers crossed it is. It follows pretty much a girl who has been fascinated with wolves, and wouldn't you know, she falls in love with one of them who kind of can transform, you know, from human to wolf form. I could not believe when I saw this book on the shelf at one of my all-time favorite thrift stores here in town, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. 2 books from Rainbow Rowell in this haul. I know. I have already read this, but when I saw it sitting there for $1.99, I couldn't just let it sit there. I have been pretty much pushing this on my sister forever and a billion years, and Haven, if you haven't read it yet, I own it now and you can always borrow it. I highly recommend this book for people who really enjoy YA contemporaries, especially those readers who are in college. I think that it's very relatable. These next 2 books I found at the local Goodwill here. I think I got them both for 99 cents because they are paperback, so hip hip hooray. The first one is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I know this is being turned into a book to movie adaptation. I watched the trailer for it recently and it freaked the living daylights out of me. So I don't know if I'll be watching the movie, but I will definitely be reading the book. I remember first hearing about this book on Benjamin of Tome's channel. He raved about this book for forever, but I really haven't heard anybody else talk about it. I will read you this little thing on the back to give you a little bit more about what this book is about. It says, every morning, Melanie waits in her cell to be collected for class. When they come for her, Sergeant Parks keeps his gun pointing at her while two of his people strap her into a wheelchair. She thinks they don't like her. She jokes that she won't bite, but they don't laugh. That pretty much gave us nothing about this story, so yeah, check out the Goodreads link down below for more, but I'm pretty sure it's about a girl with all the gifts. I'm good, I know. The last book that I got from Goodwill for 99 cents is The Rosie Effect, and this is the direct sequel to maybe this Rosie Project duology. I don't know. Our main character, Don Tillman, reminded me a lot of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. It was just a very refreshing read. I will be reading this hopefully sometime soon because I really did enjoy The Rosie Project. All right, friends, we are finally getting down to the end. The next two, Cassidy from Cassidy Von Shea and I, we went to some free little libraries not too long ago, and I found two books in the free little libraries. The first one is I Am Malala, and if you guys don't know who Malala is, she is the girl who stood up for education rights for women against the Taliban, and they ended up shooting her in the face, and she lived to tell her story. She is such an inspirational girl. I think she won a Nobel Peace Prize for it. Don't quote me on that, but I kind of think she did. Anyways, an amazing individual. I have been dying to read her story. And the last one I found has the most gorgeous cover, and I took it to the beach but never ended up reading it, go figure. But that is Beautiful Ruins, and it is by Jess Walter. This book does take place in the 1960s off of the Italian coastline. I think when I originally picked this up, I thought it was going to be a love story, but one of my friends told me it's not so much of a love story, but she really did enjoy the book. This is just one of many beautiful, beautiful books that I am happy to now have on my bookshelves. So friends, I have to apologize. I totally lied to you guys. I have two more books that I just forgot to bring over to this pile. So I got another book recently from Goodwill, and so we're just gonna jump back to the Goodwill section for 99 cents. Couldn't believe this was on the shelf, but it was a Jojo Moyes book, and this was The Last Letter from Your Lover. Let's try that again. The Last Letter from Your Lover. And I have adored Jojo Moyes' books. I love her characters, the way that she writes. So I was so excited to have this in my hands. And I did read it, and I won't tell you what I thought of it because stay tuned for my August wrap up for my thoughts and feelings. But I will tell you a little bit about this book. It is told in two separate timelines. The first timeline is in the 1960s. The second timeline is early 2000s. And it follows a character whose marriage is kind of falling apart. She's not very happy. Her husband is kind of a douche canoe. He's not a nice man. But she ends up meeting a gentleman through kind of like networking with their friends who is a romantic, and he really makes her feel so very special, and he writes letters to her. A whole bunch of really unfortunate things happen. We get fast forward and thrust into 2003 where a journalist is struggling to keep her job, and she uncovers these letters and tries to piece together what happened to Jennifer's love story. And guys, what a freaking roller coaster of a ride. I'm about to cry right now just even like thinking about this book. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're gonna put it down now. All right, for real this time, we have 4 books left. The next 2 books that I'm gonna tell you guys about, I found at the Dollar General. So Baton Rouge, Louisiana had historic flooding. It was awful. It didn't get a ton of media coverage, which is really, really sad because it impacted so many people. It impacted more people than Hurricane Katrina did, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about Hurricane Katrina. But yeah, with that said, during the flooding, I was able to get out for one day because work had been canceled due to the flooding, and I was going to probably be trapped in my condo for days and days. I needed to just get out and get something, and I wasn't really expecting to find books at the Dollar General. I was more just going for a puzzle, but I found these 2 books. The first one is Reality Boy by A.S. King. This is a story about a boy who was once on reality TV, and he was on reality TV at a much, much younger age. So he really wasn't the one who voluntarily put himself on there. It was more his parents, and now he is older. He's kind of known as the reality boy. I'm thinking it's gonna be a little bit of a coming of age story for him. The next book that I also found at the Dollar General for $1 is Game Board for the Gods by Rochelle Mead. You You all know how much I adore Vampire Academy, and I haven't really read other Rochelle Mead books since the VA series. And I know my friend Danielle has really enjoyed this book or series. I can't remember how many books are out, but this book is more of a futuristic story, kind of told from the point of view where religious extremists has, I don't know, taken down the world. I can't really remember what it's all about, but I know my friend Danielle said it was pretty fascinating. The last two books I have my sister Hannah actually purchased, I think to help get her free shipping for some online order that she was making a while ago. So thank you, Hannah, for thinking of me. But these two books I have never heard of, but they actually sound really cute. The first one is One Perfect Day. I think this book kind of centers around a very traumatic event and maybe having to deal with a Christmas miracle. If any of you guys have heard of this book or have read it, let me know down below and tell me your guys' thoughts. The next and the last book for this haul, I know, praise Jesus, hallelujah, it's coming to an end, but it is The Midnight Plan of the Repo Man, a novel by Bruce Cameron, Bruce Cameron. I'm going to read you the inside flap, or at least part of it. It says, Roddy McCann, former college football star, has experienced a seismic drop in popularity. He is now a full-time repo man in Michigan and part-time bouncer at his sister's bar. His best friend is his low-energy basset hound Jake, with whom he shares a simple life of stealing cars. Who doesn't love a story about a man and his faithful furry friend companion? So I think this is going to be a super cute read, and that wraps up this haul. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for this ginormous haul. I don't think I've ever had one as big as this. Don't quote me on that either, because I may have lied to you, but naturally, as a book lover, I'm just so excited for all these reads. I would love to know if you guys have read any of these books down below. Let's chat about them in the comment section. Thank you to everyone who sent me books. Thank you to my sisters who are freaking rock stars and getting books for me. And thank you so much, friends, for watching today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'm sure I will see you soon. Bye!